Interpreting Parables and Symbols in the Most Important Religious Texts Part 1. By Abdelmoumin I, Ahmed. Jesus Christ was renowned for speaking in parables, stories that conveyed divine truths. He was used to give amazing parables. He did so either because people were unable to accept the truth directly or because they found it difficult to comprehend. In general, sacred scriptures express truth through parables in order to illustrate and embody unseen realities within the dimensions of time and space. By means of such symbols, divine revelation becomes accessible to people of varying intellectual and spiritual capacities. The Qur'an teaches, God does not charge a soul except with that within its capacity. Spiritual truths are therefore revealed according to human capacity. They are not given solely according to the will of heaven, but rather as a meeting point between divine intent and the limits of human understanding. Hence, scriptures employ parables and symbols that require thoughtful interpretation. The Qur'an says, "And these parables we cite for the people, but none grasps them except those of knowledge." Interpretation itself is both a science and a gift. Joseph, the son of Jacob, was among the most gifted interpreters of visions and dreams. From the outset, the Qur'an presents parables. In Surat al-Baqarah, it describes the people of Mecca as they confronted the new truth of Islam. Their similitude is that of one who kindled a fire. When it illuminated what was around them, God took away their light and left them in darkness, so they could not see. In other words, the brilliance of the new truth was so overwhelming that it obscured their vision. The sacred text continues with another parable. He sends down water from the sky, and valleys flow according to their capacity, and the torrent carries foam. Thus does God present truth and falsehood. As for the foam, it vanishes like scum, but what benefits people remains on the earth. Thus does God present parables. A parable is a figurative image that approximates an abstract or metaphysical truth, translating it into a form perceptible within human experience. In modern terms, a parable functions much like a scientific diagram, an instrument to represent complex realities, to give form to meaning, and to express truth in practical, visible terms. For the vanguard of believers seeking to build a new civilization, a sound beginning is essential, one rooted in a correct understanding of the foundations of faith. This is necessary to cultivate a modern, faithful consciousness. Such an undertaking requires a renewed art of interpretation and explanation, grounded in the tools, methods, and knowledge available to the modern mind, resources that were not accessible in the past. The general principles of each religion can be discerned through careful study of its details, the particulars, while the universal principles that unite all religions can be discovered through comparative reflection on their shared foundations, the universals. Religion emerged to confront the enduring problems of humanity. Where did these problems originate? How can they be resolved? And toward what end is humanity moving? To answer these questions, we must understand both the process and the purpose, the beginning and the end. Religions, in their efforts to address the problems of humanity, have been greatly influenced by those very problems throughout their long history. Sacred texts emphasize that with the fall of man, the heavenly and earthly realms became separated. The fall began with a spiritual descent, through desire, thought, and emotional intellectual deviation, and was completed through physical action. Accordingly, restoration begins with the discipline of the body and culminates in spiritual salvation, at the level of the heart and mind, where heaven and earth can once again meet. We observe that acts of prayer follow this same order. They begin with bodily movements, proceed through verbal expression, and are completed with the mindfulness of the intellect and the presence of the heart. The prayer of the heart and mind is the prayer of authenticity, expressed through devotion, supplication, entreaty, contemplation, and intimate communion. These stages of knowledge and practice correspond to the three levels of monotheism mentioned in the famous hadith of the Prophet Muhammad: Islam, submission; Iman, faith; and Ihsan, constant awareness of God. The ultimate goal of the religious project is to breathe once again the Spirit of God into human consciousness, culminating in the full realization of the divine breath within a single, perfected human being, male and female together. Jesus Christ represented this archetypal human being. But where, then, Does woman fit into this divine design? Today, many speak of the perfected woman, the new Eve, or the original Eve. The first divine breath bestowed upon the first Adam and Eve was left incomplete due to the fall. A second breath will be necessary at the end of time, through which humanity will perceive the universe in all its dimensions. The Qur'an declares, "And we certainly created you, then formed you, then said to the angels, prostrate to Adam, and they prostrated except for Iblis. He was not among those who prostrated." It also says regarding the creation of Adam, "So when I have fashioned him and breathed into him of my spirit, fall down to him in prostration." And about the two great blasts, the first and the second, the Qur'an proclaims, "And the trumpet was blown, and whoever is in the heavens and whoever is on the earth fell dead except whom Allah wills. Then it is blown again, and at once they will be standing, looking on." The first blow is the breath of life, infused into the form of Adam, which astonished the angels and provoked their protest. This caused a great commotion in the highest assembly, archangelic realm, culminating in the rebellion of Lucifer, the grand archangel. The second blow is the breath of resurrection, a single divine breath, as the Qur'an affirms, centered upon the appearance of the new Adam and the new Eve. And when the trumpet is blown with one blow, the earth and the mountains will be lifted up and crushed with one blow. This signifies that with the appearance of Christ, all the institutions of the fallen world will be transformed and replaced by institutions of righteousness and goodness. Until the final resurrection is complete, the last days will continue to unfold progressively. The coming of Christ marked a great resurrection of souls, one that remains unfinished. The rise of Islam was a prelude to another resurrection, which will reach its fulfillment with the appearance of the new Adam and the new Eve.